Alright, we're back for a new video of Shapez 2. Last video we unlocked the access to the trade stations and also the full clearance. So in the meanwhile, I've done a few things offline. First of all, the first drive that I used, I think in last video, when it comes to trade station was a little off because the trade station are capable of handling the 12 lane in at the same time. So and the speed that it can handle is half of a belt, physical belt. So if you take two, you can handle if how can I say, if you take two per physical lane, you will be able to handle a normal physical lane speed, and if you take 8, you will handle a 4 physical belt speed basically, and they're going to add up here. So 4 times 2 is 8. This way we can max out the throughput of the space belt. All right. After that, so I brought the red, green, and blue all the way there. I could have colored them there. Basically, I could have, but in any case, they are the base for everything else afterwards. So you see these ones are gonna be used in having the next colors. Same for this, 3 to get the next black and white, and then the white and black and white will be used for the final shape. So eventually we can bring them uncolored, but the only thing that it would change is capability to take more of one color than the other, which is not really necessary in my opinion, unless not for a make-all machine. For machines that you design to really target one precise shape that you're going to do that is immutable, then yes, it would be maybe best to bring the uncolored shape and then color it based on what you need as final. So anyway, so we just have 3 sources, then we have the 3 color sources. We're just repainting the shapes. 8 space station is enough to max out the throughput, and then we're bringing everything to the new machine I'm going to introduce to you, which is this one. So I have to say that my game has turned pretty slow, especially when it comes to saving, loading, and copying big amounts, of course, of components. So what I basically did is, you can see here this was the pin-based, the self-sustained pin-based thing, the last version of the map that we had. So what I've done is, we said last time that we have 10 new shapes to introduce to our system. So we had 2 solutions. At first I thought that I would just space it and really make it large per machine, and then eventually I decided to scale up instead, because I believe that for each quarter we only have one result. Basically it's a shape and a color, and so the shape can come, like, they are mutually exclusive, so there's only one shape that at the end is going to be used per corner. So what we're doing here is, we have first this component is different from slightly different from that component in the way that it's what is filtering. Okay, so I've taken our 8 auto shaper And I've removed everything related to painting and mixing, and it gave us a lot of space. But besides the space, we also have signal to pass through. The 5, so since it's 10, we can have the 5 inputs since we already had the pins and the 4 original shapes, so I didn't have to redesign the whole thing. It's basically the same. We've removed the gate there because once a shape has been granted access, it's gonna pass through all the way. So we don't need a second, because this one was a way to multiplex for when shapes needs to be painted or not. And in our case, these shapes are non-paintable. They're just taken as is. So, and as you can expect here, we just have basic logic. So we have, this one is responsible for the 5 first shapes, including RGB, and the next colors are should be a teal, magenta, blue. Yeah, RGB, teal, magenta, I think. Cyan and magenta, right? Alright, and this is the 5 targets of this component. You can see the 3 first shapes enter here. The next ones are not available yet, but we just need to plug them later. And so the condition itself is very easy. We just make sure that it's an AND gate basically. So we need to have this one detected, okay? Plus the color that goes with it. So either if it's red, it's gonna be this one detected in red, and then we let the red pass through. If it's the green, then we let the green pass through. And what is that? What is that? It's not been tested. All the colors have not been tested, so it's gonna be improved. They all carry the same mistake. Okay. I'm gonna check the other components. I wish that when we upgrade the component in the blueprint, we'd get an update of all the components that are currently on the map. But it's still okay. So as you can see, it's still experimental. I'm just testing it right now. Let's replace the existing one. We're talking a H shape, refine part 1, this one. Let's make sure that the second one doesn't suffer from the same issue. So the second one is basically the same. The only difference is the condition we're using here. So we have 3 remaining colors here. So it's orange, black, and white for this shape, and for that shape it's black and white. That's all. So that is all. So the white is for the X and for the Y, and for the X and for the Y, and that's all. This component also has the problem, so I'm going to fix it as well. Better see it now than waste too much time. So let's replace our refine part 2 and reduce it everywhere. Okay. So what else can I say while I was developing this? So we continue to use platforms for transferring signals like this. To be noted that if you flip, sometimes this one will activate the bottom one and it would not trigger this one. So how can I say, be careful when you flip that you actually also, it may look like a good idea to flip this thing, but when you flip, you're also reversing the order in which you're connecting things. So make sure that they remain connected on the right direction. Okay, so in terms of what we've done for the, we've upgraded to the shape multiplier 6 as we finished a lot of things in the meanwhile. As for the milestones, so this one's been validated, so we basically know that our logic works. Just to be noted that I'm not supporting crystal now, but this milestone doesn't put crystal in the balance. Okay, the crystal come in the second step. Okay, so talking about crystals, this is gonna be the purpose of today. So I'm gonna be honest with you. Crystals is complicated. They didn't add the mechanics for no reason. Crystals are complicated, but you can basically treat 98% of the case if you consider that a shape doesn't have any hole. If shape don't have any hole, so if shape don't have any hole, you don't need to consider the shape in its entirety in its 4 different corners. You can basically consider a shape being just a corner, and you can, in terms of combinations, imagine that you have so let's say each part, if you want the total number of combinations and possible shapes, I'm not talking colors because coloring is kind of easy to handle generally, but in terms of shape, each location will have either a crystal, a shape, or a hole or a pin. They have different behavior. Okay, so each corner have 4 possibilities multiplied by each layer. So if times 4 is 16, times 4 is going to be 64, and times 4 is going to be 256 or something like this, I guess. Yeah, 128, 256. All right. But if so, 256 would allow us to handle a corner in the worst case if we don't find a way to logically assemble things following a pattern. We have 256 combination here without considering colors, pins, and and refined shapes, and I mean some of them also don't have colors. So that would be the total combination. And if we start to widen, then we would have 256 times 4, it's 1,000 combinations, times 4, it's it's 4,000 combination, 16,000 combination, 32 and yeah, 64,000 combination. What I mean is basically the shapes here would be 4 to the power of 16. The total, without counting the colors, with the color it's much more. So 4 to the power 4 power 16 is equal to 4 billion combinations. We have 4 billion combinations, and if we consider that in insane apparently we can get all the way to 5 layers, then you have to take it to 4 to the power 20, which is a trillion, which is about 1 trillion combinations of shapes here that we can make. I'm not considering the rotations, and I'm really considering about locations. Okay, just to say that there's a lot of combinations, and in a way, when we think about crystals, because of the way they are, like it's not only about stacking, it's about many, like dividing into different cases. And I think that the first approach we need to take is an approach that allows us to handle most of the crystals. And one of the biggest issue that comes with the crystals, actually, it's about cutting. The conditions that we need to handle with the crystals would be, yeah, about cutting. Why? Is because, so it's how can I say, it's about holes basically, and with holes also come the pieces that hang over crystals. So when you have a hole, you cannot have a crystal on top of it, you cannot have a crystal under your hole. There's no way to make something like this. But you can have a crystal at the part that actually keeps the hole, if the thing over that crystal is actually a shape that you were able to stack, so at the end of the thing. So what I mean is, if we have holes, we can get holes from stacking, and we can get holes from cutting crystals. Okay, and some of the shapes are only, you can only make them by one of the two ways. And so that's a lot of conditions that we need to handle. And in my opinion, the first approach we need to take with crystals is at least have a solution that allow us to handle 95% of the problems. And for the more complex ones, we can have an approach that's more manual. Okay, and eventually, maybe at some point, I will consider a better way. But for now, that's the approach we're gonna take. Why? Is because first, one of the operator shapes have crystals, so we're limited here right now, as long as we cannot handle crystals. Okay, so, and the second reason is the next milestone also takes potential crystals. Okay, all right. So I want to show you the shapes that remain to be done. And I want to show you one thing is that, if I'm not mistaken, none of them possess holes. In my opinion, the hard part from crystal comes from handling holes. The conditions besides holes. I don't know why I have so little FPS, but anyway. Maybe from the recording. Anyway. So as you can see, none of them possess holes, and I am suspecting that up until the end, there will be no holes. And this is the final one with crystals. Ah, here we have a hole. Okay, and crystals. It's the final shape. But that's the very last shape that we need to do. As for jobs, some of them may have holes, but I'm not 100% sure. What I wanted to tell you, yeah, this one have holes, but no crystals. So, this one have a lot of holes, yes. And this is typically a worst case I wanted to talk about, is when we start to expand, when we start to consider holes, we start to widen the target outside from one corner to basically 1, 2, or 3 other corners. And this is one of the worst case. And this shows you that eventually, when you handling things, you will have to bridge to one or more corners. Maybe at first you think, okay, when something's hanging over, I can just consider the neighboring corners, find one that have a piece there that's going to allow us to hang things over. And yeah, you can have some conditions that work this way, but if you take this piece, this one doesn't have anything next to it, and this one doesn't have anything next to it. So my approach is the following one. we're first going to work on a crystal compatible machines that can handle shapes that are full, okay? And I'm going to explain, because it's not straightforward for full. We have 1 or 2 tweaks that we need to do to our machine, okay? Um, the the um, the when it comes to holes, or how can I say, besides that, first let's take a general shape. So right now is working as basically we are stacking the first layer over the second layer from the top to the bottom, and then we're stacking the 2 top layer over the third layer, and then the 3 layers on the top on the layer of the bottom, basically. So the way we work is contrary, not really the good way to how crystal work, because crystals are actually grown from the ground up. What you want is to add pins or add some things that yeah, that you want to grow from the bottom. So one of the first things that we will need to do is to reverse our process here, so that shapes are processed from the bottom to the top, okay? Second thing we need to do is condition a little island that possess a condition that says if it's crystal based or not. If it's crystal based, then we need a specific process, but if it's not crystal based, this one will work fine and will handle holes when there is no crystals. So we still need to play with this one. So there will be a selector here as where everything need to go. We're going to work on this in this video. No crystals go through this pipeline. If there's a crystal somewhere, all right? So if there is a crystal somewhere, we're going to handle shapes that are full, corners that are full at first, okay? So what I mean by full is that there is no hole in that corner. If you take all the stack, so we're going to rearrange, we're going to work by corner, okay? So when there is the when we consider a corner, okay, let's take a complex shape that have crystals. Okay, it's not really a good example, but basically what we need to handle, what we need to consider is we have one little specific thing, one custom thing that we need to handle. So basically one area can be a crystal, can be a shape, can be a pin, all right? Crystal, shape, pin, no hole. We say it's out of our scope right now. If there's a hole, we're gonna have a machine that detects holes in the final shape and also trigger an alarm or conflict somewhere to tell us that that shape is incompatible with the current machine. Until at some point maybe we can handle crystal and holes together. We'll see later. So because we don't handle holes, we don't handle hangovers when there's shapes, when there's crystals, right? So everything is basically treatable as a corner, and this makes things much easier. So this is a corner. It can be a shape, it can be a pin, or it can be a crystal. It's as simple as that. If it's a shape, we stack it. If it's a pin, it's special. There is a case for the pin that is a problem. So if it's a pin, there's something to do about this. If it's crystal, then we just need to add a pin and paint, okay? So when we're talking, so yeah, so because we're working with corners, we're gonna need some rest of shapes around that we can stack around, so that we can fill. It's like a mold, basically. For example, to mold this one, the top layer, we will need layers there, a full shape, all right? Basically, here it can be crystal. It's not really a problem, because when we cut like this, it could very well be filled with a crystal and then cut anywhere, because we're handling corners, all right? But I'd say I'd say it's probably smarter to use shapes that have this, that are like this, because later on maybe we will need to use this one full. We will see. I don't know yet what I'm going to do, but basically we're going to use a reusable machine that allows us a mold, basically a mold of layer 0, layer 1, a mold of layer 2, layer 3, layer 4 that we're going to provide to the end, to the final area, so that we can fill each area. Okay, so like I told you, the save is actually taking a lot of space. Time, sorry. So so first we need a machine that generates some molds, some molding thing. And so shapes is straightforward. For crystal, we actually need to use the mold around and fill it with the right color. So it's kind of straightforward. And then the pin is more complicated. So the pin is complicated if it comes from the bottom, because the pin is the only thing, the pin pusher is the only machine that's able to bring a crystal up. And if you try to paint a shape that have a pin, the pin's gonna be replaced by that color. So eventually the pins, the bottom pins, come last. All right, come last. We need to delay adding the pins from the bottom. Okay, so typically, I'm gonna say we delay it, but we can delay it for the shapes as well. It's gonna be a global system. But if we do that, we're able to handle pins from the bottom. To be the worst case with pin from the bottom is just one, go up 4 layers. So 1, 2, 3 pins can need to be delayed at max. 4 pins in maybe insane modes or whatever, but we can modify the machine if we go for that difficulty at some point. But how to say, yeah, but so yeah, it's some pins still need to be put there, and then eventually if it's a pin that is not at the bottom, then normally there's no crystal over it, because the only way to have a crystal over a pin, and that is not itself being colored, is a final crystal, basically. I mean, it cannot carry. I don't think a crystal can be over a pin, if I'm not mistaken, if it's not at the bottom. If there's a pin in the middle, then over it cannot be a crystal, because it would be mean filling over, and we cannot stack crystal. We cannot fill because the pin would be replaced. All right, so yeah, that's it. So that's our goal for the machine. First of all, have the mold, the missing pieces, so that we can work with the corner, then build a stack considering the specific case of pins that are under, coming from under, and then we rematch everything with swappers at the end of the operation and ship the shape. Okay, since the pins are going to be delayed, we also need to be very careful with the number of layers that's going to be used when it comes to filling a shape. So this is probably going to be a component that have the 3 of them available. The 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers, 4 layers, like the 4 different molds gonna be available in that component, and it's probably gonna detect which layer we're trying to fill. So there will be an input that is color, an input that is an input with the color, an input with the pin, to be able to fill it. Some component like this that I'm gonna work on. And yes, and what else? So that would be the first. If we can do that, we probably can handle most of the crystals already. So the step after that would be to detect holes that depend on shapes in a way that. Let me explain myself. We could very well decide. Let's wait for the save to finish. Some shapes, some holes are created by shapes that get thrown over the top. And so it means that to a certain how can I say? It would be interesting to detect the topmost crystal, the layer that have the last crystal, because any layer over that layer, and even the layers that are on the same layer, basically, uh, if the rest is shapes, otherwise this one needs to be cut as well. But basically, it would mean that we would be able to stack any layer that comes over it. We could stack it, and it would allow us to handle the holes that are made by shapes over them. Okay, because if there's a hole and there's no crystal over it, then you can just add shapes over it with no problem. So that would be interesting as a second. We would be able to handle all the cases, and then the last case that remain is cases that use crystal cuts and have crystals over it. So this is the case where we have a hole under a crystal, like we have crystals that are in layers that are over that hole, because the crystal has been poured first, and then we've cut and destroyed the holes later, the hole later there. Okay, so yeah, that is our. If I take the jobs, but again, the jobs are actually made so that to challenge you for some specific things. Where did they introduce crystals? Did they make so many like that? This is pin based, and it's a full shape, so this one our machine can handle. If we take all of them, this one we can handle with our future machine. This one, of course, full shape. This one we've seen it. This one is okay. This one is a particular case that we cannot handle easy, because this crystal at the top and this hole was actually created from cutting crystals. Okay, and this is not the most, how can I say, this is not the when I'm considering of breaking crystals, these holes are actually made when we making holes using crystals. Could we have like we filled, could we have nothing here? Because no, if we cut, then we only get half. So in the case of holes made with crystals, then the whole shape doesn't need to be concerned, because I don't believe that there's a case where since we're cutting and we're destroying a crystal under, we were making a shape after that can have. But basically, for holes with crystals, the maximum number of corners to consider is actually 2. We take a corner that carries, and we take the corner that have a hole. So you spin the shape so that we get it in a position that allows us to cut vertically to make the hole there afterwards. So you see, if we consider the full shape, the holes made with shapes over them. If there was not this, we would be able to make this hole very easily because we would just stack. So, and then the hole made of crystals that only matter for the corners. So we need to spin the shape to the direction that matters, the direction that supports. And I don't believe that it's possible. You see, even the final shape that they give us, that is actually the final goal of this one. This final shape doesn't have any crystal on top of it. It's already a case of holes made of stacking. It's a stack based hole. Okay, so yeah, I'd say that's an incrementally difficult way of handling crystals, and that we handle 100% of the cases if we can do all of that. Okay, so now I'm going to pause the recording and work on the mold facility. To be noted that when we cut the molds, I mean the three shapes that are going to cover the empty areas around the corners. When we do that, we can reuse this component. So eventually we feed them inside a machine, and then the machine's gonna run non-stop with these shapes. Okay. Yeah, we need a component of layer 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. See you after the break. Alright, so first of all, we finished the milestone. So I get access to the cyan, magenta, and yellow trade station. 2 new jobs, platform capacity, and some research. Basically, it's gonna be 2 inputs. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I've been working on two components related to crystals. So this component gives us the information about this component basically tells us the nature of the shape that we're checking right now. So the input should be a shape, a layer, and a corner, and it will tell us if the one is on, then it's a shape. If the second is on, then it's a pin. Then if the third is on, it's a crystal. And if it's the fourth, then it's a hole. It's the 4 kind of behavior that we're gonna find. So that's it. And the second one is given a shape. Is there any crystal inside? So if we give a layer, the result will be, is there a crystal in a layer? If we give a shape, it can unstack 4 layers, as you can see. So it will give us a result on the whole shape. Okay, so it's very flexible. Of course, it's possible probably to put it on just one square, but I don't care. This is some final optimization you can do. It's not like we're lacking space. You see, we have plenty of space, so it's fine in my opinion to just have this can. Okay. Let's claim everything. Oh yeah, all right. Already level 20 for that one. Okay. I guess it's exponential, so I'm gonna let it run a bit. We're gonna discover the trade station right now, so we can proceed to the next one. We are in the 0-20% worldwide. Okay, so it basically means that only 1% out of 500 is ahead of us in the game. Okay, and they're probably all struggling with crystals, in my opinion. It's not about milestone. I mean, yeah, it's about reaching the last milestone, because apparently the last shape has very high a milestone. Like, it's a very good way to get a lot of credits and make a lot of increase all the operator level very fast. Okay, so the next milestone, we have some shapes that we can already input in the system, and yeah, we will need our shape capable factory for these ones. Let me check at the command center. So yeah, the one we have in the right that we're about to maybe this one I can input the new one, which is this, no, milestone, which is this one. So it's not doable right now because we do not support extra colors for the trade stations, but we will soon. Go back to where we were. So the reason why I left a lot of space here is because I was planning for trade stations. So to be honest, so we're gonna transform this to the new colors in this area and feed the two remaining lanes here and the first lane just here. Okay, which operator 250. Okay. Okay, let's see how trade station work for that color. Trade stations. So magenta, blue. We need to have shapes like this. Okay. So it's the same speed as the other one. So we typically need 8 of it to max out everything. Eight of each color, each blue and green friendship into cyan. 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we'd have something like this, but prior to that, we need to cut the shapes. So I probably have a cutter. One cutter. Alright, is that one? So it cuts vertically. So we only can set with this lane, so we need 4 cutters in total. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it would be best to do something like this. We get this side here. No, actually better like this. But before that, some of it will be so let's see as well. This one is the right. I don't think the direction of the shape matters. Or does it? Let's see, can I feed I will see. Okay, let's move it slightly this way so that it will look nicer. So like this. One input, two inputs, four inputs, and then it was, which one was it? It was cyan and green, blue and green. All right. Let's do a first draft first. Maybe this direction will work better. So when we do that, we still max out the two lanes out. We cannot merge them. So this is expecting that. It's just a first draft to see how it goes. Oops. Do the opposite. Okay, slightly down. So up like this. This one going for this one. Actually, yeah, we could keep one. No, actually, one of them can already feed everything. But my concern is that it would stall eventually. We don't want to be trashing things. As you can see, it's starting to stall because this side is failing. The best way to prevent stalling would be to have this happen. Let's see. Something like this, maybe. It's not gonna store if everything is consumed. Normally, when we join everything like this, it should not store. Because half of it is taken from here, then half of it is taken from there. So maybe I should just merge everything. What I mean is, all right, let's see. We don't necessarily need to put one per. But we need to join them this way to make sure that it doesn't store. Let's clear it. And this one is enough to feed all of them, I think. So I will have another available thing there. Reduce everything to the strict minimum, which is this one. move this one up. Also move this one closer. Maybe here. Right. Oops. Hmm. Ah. Okay. So this one. Right, and there we should have the capped. Up. In a minute. Let's get these two big boys out. There's two spare pieces, two spare parts. I'm gonna make a third one here for the red. The next treat stations would be so the next one would be magenta and magenta, so blue and red. It's red. And then blue. All right, finally, the last one. This, I can move it up slightly so that they all align with no loss of space. And I fucked up. All this trash, it's gonna be the yellow shape station. Okay. And here we're expecting red and green. Red and green. Red coming here. Green is gonna come here. Oops. Now, pretty straightforward. Just link it. I just need to make sure before that the way I cabled things was correct. RGB, cyan, magenta, and yellow. Cyan, magenta, and yellow. Cyan, magenta, correct? So we're in the right order. Yep. Here. Since everything was prepared, it's pretty easy. Okay, in the meanwhile, let's get back to our thing. So I'm gonna make another break again. So the goal would probably be to so if there's a crystal, we're gonna let everything we're gonna let this flow. If there's no crystal, I'm gonna let this flow continue to the end. If there's a crystal, we're gonna go down there and we're gonna have another treatment. I'm gonna change the train there to give us a lot more space, including this side as well. Okay. Alright, so I've made a new component. Is this one. This one is very efficient in terms of space. So its goal is to given a shape, an index of in like a layer index, and a corner. Then it gives us in output the layer, the whole layer basically. So it can be used to detect a crystal in the layer. That's where we're going. The shape of that corner and the color of that corner. So these two are going to be used to check for crystals, and yeah, just a second. Sorry. So yes, now I'm considering the fact that I actually work from one is always the top layer instead of being like a fourth layer. It's like one can be, the way I see things is one can be either layer 1, can be a layer 2, can be a layer 2, 3, 4, depending on the total amount of layer. We'll see later if it's a problem, but maybe it would have been more powerful to have something static, especially when we try to build from the bottom. We'll see later we can arrange, since we cascade the signal all the way, yeah, we can arrange. So why did I build this is because so basically I want to move all of this up and then have as much space as I want down there, since it's probably going to expand slowly with the crystal, the new crystal that we're going to support. So I'm guessing that the way to do that is by combining, so this one is a shape, takes a shape and tells us if there's a crystal in it, right? And so well, actually, since this one have the capability to tell us for all the layers, then we need only to broadcast the original shape So basically, we take this one and we move it here. And I'm going to this one. Kind of put it there. Just need to replace. It's not the right direction to begin with. And then this one should be flipped. Yeah. This one's a receiver and this one needs to be a broadcaster so that it can eventually be spread further. What it says here is wow. Wow. It's not okay. That's layer 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay. Here I will put the shape. I want to put a display of the shape that we're currently seeing. So that's not the shape that we're seeing. So this one, how did I name it? I think it's 2 East Crystal. East Crystal, okay. So this one I'm going to replace it in... I'm going to replace 2 East Crystal. And instead I'm gonna plug another component in front of it, capable of extracting the shape. So it's basically just because it's for the whole shape. So it's basically just a receiver. That's all. So broadcast receiver. That is tuned to that frequency. Okay, and I'm gonna put it here with a big display. So if I broadcast this one, it will be, I mean, I think it's better to do it this way, since it's like a one-time condition to try to so this one says if there is a crystal or not in the whole shape, and in the whole shape here there is no crystal. But if I was to override it and put a shape that has a crystal, which is this one, for example, then it would say that is a crystal, right? Okay. So let's erase it. This is the whole shape. It's also a good way to see the shape from top to bottom. And I could have a component that actually returns the different layers from bottom to top, excluding like starting at 1 basically. But anyway, so what we're interested in now is that if this condition is true and it's a crystal, then we're gonna jump over. Otherwise, we're gonna continue. So I can delete this length here. This one already just bypass anyway because it was just a specific thing for painting crystals. This one is like the crystal painting thing. So here, if this condition is true, then we're gonna have more thing here. If we're gonna have belt filters. This one, it's 2, 3, and 4. So the only thing we're missing was a good idea, but it did not work like planned. Something like this. Let's rewire everything. Alright. So back to business. It's 1. It's 2. That's 3. And that's 4. Let's reconnect the exhaust. But you know, in my opinion, we should just merge as far as possible. Okay, just need to reconnect these pieces in this part. And now, signal. If it's a signal, if it's a crystal, it will be moved out. It will be moved out. But we said there is no crystal, right? I know if it's true, it passes through. Okay. if it's a crystal. If we move up, I know if it's a, sorry, if it's a crystal, actually I would want the capability to reverse this. So, and unfortunately this one is right here. I don't like this. I want to move a bit closer to the end. So we have more space there. This way I can keep this one here. So, okay. Yeah, I can just do this, no problem. Not a problem. They all carry the same thing. Down by one. Yes. Now. All right. One, two, three, four. And so I just want the capability to reverse with a button. So that's the signal. Damn, what the hell? That's the signal and the reverse signal. and then the transistor. So if the button is pushed, I take this one. If the button is not pushed, I take the other one. It's reversing. In our case, we want to reverse. So, what? Let me see. If we reverse, we take the opposite of what arrives. If we don't reverse, otherwise we take the signal itself. I don't understand why I'm making a mistake. Maybe it's already working. If it's a crystal, we want to go to the side, right? So like this. But it's doing the opposite of what we want. I want it to pass through if it's not a crystal. It says it's not a crystal. Ah, there's no crystal. Indeed. That is why. There's no crystal, so it passes through. Understood. So it worked already. So I don't need this to be too like too high. This one will remain on top. And I'm going to carry the signal. On another layer. If I do that, how do I carry this? Then I need signals to be able to cross. And I just do something like this. It's gonna create trouble. I still need this information to go down to use it later. Okay, let's customize this one. We could, since they're already connected, we could move everything down there. Anyway, I mean, we could remove just use one wire to move things down and then back up. It's okay. Here we get 1, 2, 3. But we're gonna have the same problem. We need to space it as well if we are to... to bring this one. We're gonna be good. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's still keep it. In the end, we still need to cross at some point here. But now I'm considering maybe this one we should do differently. We should take a 2 in this direction. I'm gonna port all of this there. It's a bit overkill, but okay, anyway. Let me save this one first. What would it be? One crucible. Conditional pass-through. Okay. Okay, now here. Just pass through on the same layer. Move these down, maybe. And then, oops. Why is it freezing? Hello? That's 1, 2, 3. Up. Okay. Okay, so if we do like this, we're able to have this pass through, broadcast everything. And same here. Are we in reverse? Yeah, we're in reverse. So after that, we have this one going down. It's basically going to be all this. Yeah, let's delete this. I will link it later. Let's keep it. Let's just move this up. Eventually this stage will disappear when we treat all the cases, including crystals, but for now let's keep it as a... as far as I remember, this one is a filter. It's a way for us to what can I say, to make sure that they don't overstack here in this area. I'm going to just remove this. Let me see. So it was the top, front to front. If I flip, it's gonna be front to front still, by putting it like this. This allows this one to continue down. The output will have to go over. Then we can reintegrate potentially this one. I'm not even sure it's required. With small lines like this. Let's just keep it the way it used to be. Oops, no. No. Because they have different rotations, if I remember well, they all have a very specific rotation to get the shape in shape. Let's just do it by hand. Each layer has the same, so just noticed something here that didn't put back. That was outside. Can put it there. oh. I'm going to replace all this. Oh, the save. Two. Go on. Go on. How can it take forever just for a few pieces like this? Okay. Looks like I'm missing the second and third layer because I hit it. So this one's fucked up. And now they're all fucked up. All right, last thing to fix. Okay. Reverse. No need to make it too compact. Okay, so now I'm going to pause the video again, and I'm gonna work. So here normally we have recovered basic basic functionality. This shape should be no problem for us to make, and also this shape doesn't require any. Which one did we order here? Which one is going in? Oh, yeah, it's this shape. This shape has no crystal, so normally everything should flow to the right side. And nothing should be connected. Empty this one. Nothing should be passing through for this shape. But we will change later when we're ready. So here we know that there are crystals. That's one thing we're sure of. So we're working with crystal here. And we have the 4 layers, and yeah, everything is to be done. All right, so so I've done a lot of so there was a lot of changes to the I've built a mega machine, all right, and to test it with that can handle many crystals. I don't think that the thing that I recorded it was paused. Anyway, okay, so just to explain very fast how it goes. We're testing with this custom shape that is complicated that I've created for the event. That is, yeah, like I said, have some holes, have some pins under, etc. Okay, so here's what we've done with this machine. So like I said before, we have so this is all the new addition that have appeared since I posed. Okay, so do you remember that I told you that if it's crystal based, it's gonna go all the way and follow the normal path, right? And this is not normal. That there's something here, maybe some remnants of some other bugs. It's not being consumed. Anyway, it's not a big deal as long as it doesn't move forward. If there is no crystal detected in a shape, okay, it's gonna go to the next one, okay. And here is how the second that's I'm gonna say that's the intermediate thing before we start to handle the shape as corners. Okay, we still try to from the top to bottom to find layers that are full of shapes that do not contain crystals. Okay, so I have some way of I've added some detection things here. Okay, and its goal is to say if there is a crystal in the current shape, in the current layer that we're handling. Okay, and if there is no crystal, then it's gonna follow it. We could say that it's exactly the same as the stage over it. Okay, let's wait for the save to finish. Okay, so we could say that it's exactly the same as this, because in a case where there is no crystals, they're gonna just cascade all the way to the end, basically. All right, so and be overflown and go to the end. So I could remove that one, but I still left it there for now, as we first are faster since we closer to update, and second is I'm still all of this is still a work in progress. So okay, okay, so the goal of this one is going to detect shapes, layers that have only containing shapes until we detect crystals, in which case the layers that did not contain crystals are going to be pushed all the way, so they're going to be added at the very end. And whenever we detect a crystal, all the remaining layers under, basically, are going to follow a corner specific process. Okay, so I'm gonna get back to here later. Since I'm here, I can show you already. This one is just a factory that builds for me shapes of this, like this, that are 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers, and 4 layers, and we're gonna use them as molds later. Okay, so and they're gonna be provided under this limit is gonna be, we're going to treat the corners as like we're no longer going to treat layers, we're going to treat shapes, sorry, corners. Okay, so first of all, each corner is going to have some computation at the beginning. The reason why you only see 2 is because I'm still benchmarking it, and there's still some bugs that I'm slowly discovering. And I don't want to be copying every fix that I do 4 times. So 2 is enough to detect, to make sure that we get what we expect. So this is like pre-computation. Here what we get basically in input is a shape. Is the whole shape, and then we're going to compute this for information. Pre-pin count means that on this corner, so it's true for like, yeah, remember we're talking about corners, so it's 1 corner is going to be 4 layers. Okay, so on this 4 layers, whatever the shape is, there is 1 pin that stays at the bottom. Okay, that's a pre-pin count, and this is going to be useful because the pre-pin is actually being put last in the pipeline. Okay, so by knowing it in advance, first we can apply we can apply the correct number, and second is we can detect the height of the shape, because the game doesn't offer us any way of knowing, like when a shape passes through like a conveyor belt, to check the shape, split it, check how the how can I say how the what shape that we are facing, like if it's a 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layer, you understand the height of the shape. Then the corner layer count, is basically that corner, how many how high is it, how many layer is there in that corner. I'm not using it right now, but I might use it later. Then there's the shape layer count. So this is global to the whole shape, and this is going to be used because this is a way for us to position ourselves no longer from the top but from the bottom. And this is exactly how crystals work. They work bottom to top, basically, when you need to add them. So so that's one information that is crucial. And finally, corner has crystals. Okay, so it just says that that specific corner has crystals. If there's no crystal, we can basically stack everything. All right. If there are crystals, then we have to be more careful. Let's wait for the save to pass. So, come on. So, while it's saving, this current machine in this current situation is only handling all the cases, in my opinion, but one case is the case where you have holes, like you have crystals that are over holes. Basically, let's say you have 4 layers, you have a hole at the 3rd layer, and your 4th layer has crystals. So the only way to have a hole there, and to keep that hole, because remember we have to paint, I mean we're going to fill the whole shape whenever we're creating crystal, and the only way to have the crystal at the top and have the hole under it is by actually cutting through. So there may be how can I say, there may be a way to, if the hole is not where the crystal is, maybe there's, but let's take the worst case. The worst case technically would be a layer where there is just one corner with, let's say, a crystal, and or like a shape, and then a shape over it that's full, and then over that shape, over that layer that is full, some crystal. And this is our worst case, because the whole shape is actually being, the top, the hat is being maintained by only one of the corners, which means that all of the corners need to be considered to find out which is the pillar and how to build it. So that case is excluded, but because we have we have, like, you remember this one that's going to find like the hat, the shapes that are on the top. Normally, if there is no crystal on top of a hole, then this is going to be, the shapes are going to be added as layers, and thus it's going to create holes under it naturally. Okay, so what the machine also handles is pins that are at the bottom. Okay, that is, you saw it, I call it the pre-pin count. So pins at the bottom are going to be applied last. So we need to to postpone the application. Okay. Yeah, so let's continue. I can show you very fast how I did that. It's kind of quick and dirty. I just wanted to make sure that it works and everything. Remember, before we made the shape nature detector. So here we detecting pins. Okay, here we have like here we like in the layer 4 in the corner. So we're gonna go from top to bottom. Okay, no, we're gonna go from bottom to top, sorry. And this says that it's bottom layer and first corner. This is the layer just over it, and this is the same corner. So this is basically all the same corners. Okay, but different layer from bottom to top. And then here we have 3 signals. This is the count of pre-pin that we detect. This is a signal that tells us that this is no longer necessary to calculate the pins because we met a shape or we met a crystal. So it's no longer going to be pre-pin. And this is a way for us to calculate the total amount. Actually, sorry, is this one these two are reversed. This one is the number of pins, pre-pins. This is the height of that corner that we can calculate in the same way. And basically here what we do is just going to increment this one. So we have 0 coming in, and potentially this 0, you see, if we detect a 0, then we're going to return a 1 here. And this is the incremented value. But this value is going to be incremented if and only if we detect a pin, and we are still in the pre-pin area, which means that we did not turn off that flag. And so here we detect a pin, okay, and the shape is 1. We continue. Here it was not a pin. Okay, we can detect here. So if it's null, it means there's no shape. If it's 0, it means that it's not the shape we're looking for. And if it's 1, it means that this is the shape we're looking for. Okay, so we can at the same time detect the height of the shape and the nature of the layer and the corner that we're targeting. So if you understood well, as this one is no longer a pin, this second control flag is going to be turned off at the end. This one remains at 1 because it was turned off. It was no longer a pin, and the shape continues to increase to 3 and to 4, and eventually we get the result. 1 per pin for this one, corner shape being 4, the total shape height is 4, and this one is about crystal, if corners have crystal. For corners having crystal, it's exactly the same, but instead of matching pins, we're actually matching crystals. And it's just a logical OR here that we're applying. And as soon as we meet any crystals in that corner, so this is the 4 layers, basically, and the same corner, as soon as we meet a crystal, then the result is true. And then we're going to push it to the left so that it can be applied. Like I told you, remember, we are now working with corners, so these 3 do not matter, these 3 do not matter. They're going to be handled down there, and then we're going to have 2 more down there that will handle the last 2 corners. But for now, we already have 2 corners running. Let's see how our machine works now. Where is it? So let's take the first corner. All right, so we're moving that information all the way. We're broadcasting it to the left and also down there because we're going to reuse that information later for the pins. And I didn't want to I thought I had narrow space at first, so everything's a bit compact here. Okay, so this is basically coming from the previous shape. Okay, I mean the previous layer. Remember, now we're building from bottom to top. Okay, so the first thing we're going to have is this one. So this one is going to transform the shape. It's going to transform, sorry. So this one's goal is first transforming the signal that is 100 into the final shape, and second, to give us the nature of that corner. So there can be 4 nature and 4 and we're gonna use them to act differently on the part that we're trying to build. The shape, so if it's this one, is going to be a shape, and shape can be just stacked. End of the story. This one is going to be a pin. Okay, so if it's a pin, then there is 2 behavior for the pin. The pin can be added, then can be stacked, okay, or the pin can be delayed and stacked and pushed at the very end. And this is depending on the pre-pin things that we've pre-calculated that you're gonna see in a minute. And so there is a special behavior for pins, these 2 things. And there's the particular thing as well of 4 pins on each other. So these ones needs to be stacked, okay. And yeah, that's it. Okay, and the last one is, no, the third one is crystal, and the last one is horse. Okay, so at first we're detecting shapes. Okay, so this one is taking in the shape that's supposed to be added, and it's taking the previous, the thing that come from the previous layer. Okay, and if a shape is detected, it's gonna be stacked. Okay, it's going to be stacked here, and then it's going to be moved to be used in the next layer. Okay, if it's not detected, then it's being pushed forward so that it can be checked against pins and crystals. So the next layer is about crystal, and as you can see here, we have our information put back here. First, we have first we're going to use the shape layer count. So what we want to know with this, I said it a bit earlier, what we're interested in is how do we how can I say, what is the real height basically, because shape need crystal. If it's crystals, then we need to know the height of the crystals, because we're going to use a mold adapted to that height. Okay, and this height changes on two things. First is the size of the shape itself, because our machine is four things, I mean four potential layers, but maybe this layer is empty. Okay, so we need to, we cannot just say, okay, this one's gonna be level 1, this one's gonna be, maybe level 1 is actually here. So we need to know where we stand when we're starting to create the crystals. Okay, let's see, it was more down. So this one is a subtractor, so it takes this value and it removes that value. The one, our machine right now have 4 layers maximum, so it stays at 4, and we're going to remove the shape layer count. This is going to give us the number of unused machine, and it's basically the offset to know the height, basically to find out the height. So as we said, it's 4 minus 4 is gonna be 0, and then here I'm telling it I'm going to use the layer position and remove that offset basically. So it's going to be 1 minus 0. Okay, and so what is this one? This one means that we on the rightmost um, layer of our machine. You know, on 4 is the 1, and then the one on the left is going to be 2, and then 3, and then 4. What it does is that thanks to the calculation of the shapes, the shape size, we're able to find out the height. And then here, since the shape is actually 4 out of 4 layers, then the height here is 1, and it also means that this layer is being used. Okay, after we've detected where we stand and that we are 1 above the ground, we need to know if there is a prepin that we need. How can I say? We need to know like the real, because if some prepins are going to be delayed to the end, and for that reason we're going to paint the crystals more down than where they should be. So if there is 1 prepin, then we need to remove that value. So there is actually 1 prepin in our shape, and so it's 0 right now, but it's actually the pin, it's actually not a crystal. In this case, you saw it was a pin, so it will be more interesting when we see the next part. After that, when we know the height of the shape, we're able to choose the mold, the height of the mold. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and then we can push forward the right mold so that we can pour the paint to make crystals inside it. Okay, this is about checking against, is it a crystal or not. It's not a crystal, we already know that it's a pin. So since it's not a crystal, then anything that would pass here would be forwarded more down. Okay, if it is a crystal, okay, we will see how it goes in the next just after, because right now we cannot see it run. If it is a crystal, is gonna follow a process that is trivial to make that corner, the crystal for that corner. So let's proceed to the pin, since it's actually a pin that we're talking about. So here we test it against pin and it's valid, and actually when we know it's a pin, remember I said that our challenge now is to know if that pin is supposed to be stacked or that pin is supposed to be delayed. Okay, so once again, we get our information here. It's exactly the same thing that is being made here. We end up with the exact same result here about the height of the shape, okay? And I didn't want to optimize because I can always do that later to how can I say, merge all this information together. So once we know the height of the shape, the condition for stacking is kind of simple. If the height of the shape is more than 1, then we're talking about if how can I say, if here it's or we stack if the height of the shape is more than 0, so 1, it means that we are already above the ground basically, so it's better to just stack anyway, and because we cannot push from the bottom anyway at that time, or if it's not a crystal, because if it's not a crystal, everything is stackable, so let's just stack the pin. There's no way to delay it, right? And so we're going to broadcast that information further. This is going to drive, this is the command for do we stack or not. If we don't stack, then everything that entered is going to return to the next layer because it's going to be postponed for pre-pin, post-pin, basically. We continue with that information all the way down. So this is the stack, the pin stack here. We continue with that information down. Normally we should have some pins coming here. I will check later when, between the next video and here, where we don't have it. So this is the information if we stacked or not. And as you guessed, this is the return after we have made the whole corner with passing through all the layers, okay? And then the condition is simple. Pin and not stack. Again, equals pin pusher. It means if we did not stack, okay, and it's a pin, because after all, we still need to, we cannot just randomly, we don't have the information that it's a pin. Now we know it's a pin, and we know that it's not been stacked. Then it needs to be pushed. As simple as that. So that is all for that part. Let's go to the next area for everything regarding crystals. So I said that, where is it? Here. Remember? This one, the only one that changed is the MAM layer position. We actually on the third layer in terms of position, left to right. And this allows us to know that the height of this MAM layer is 2, okay? So basically we're moving up to the second layer officially. But we have a pre-pin count. And because we have a pre-pin count on that counter, it's going to be decremented. And we're actually at 1, which means that we're going to paint the crystal on the ground because the pin have not been applied yet. So we removed that pre-pin. And so, as you guessed, because the result is 1, the mold is 1. And we're forwarding the mold all the way to the stacker, okay? Here we're still checking first that we're talking about crystals. It is indeed a crystal. If there's a crystal coming from behind before, it's gonna be pushed forward. There's no crystal, there's no shape that's being used in making crystal. It's basically just painting and making holes, okay? So we move forward to the stacker. So in this stacker, there is no previous shape entering here. We're just stacking over emptiness. We actually bypassing the stacker because there is nothing on the other side. And then it's going down for filling, okay? It's being filled here. The result is going to be full shapes like this that we eventually cut, trash half of it. We could reuse the shapes that have been cut, but yeah, but it could be complicated to detect if it's a 1 layer, 2 layer, and we have a chance of having mixes if we re-inject the wrong shapes. Because remember, if there's pre-pins, then the shape, the crystal, how can I say, Even if there is no prepping, the fact that the shape can have a different number of layers makes it complicated to know how to collect these things back. The only way to know how to collect these things back is if we have very dedicated shape that we can test against and filter by shape. Basically, if we only use circles to fill all the empty shapes, okay, then we can compare a circle of one layer, 2 layers, 3 layers, 4 layers, and then we can reinject them in the system afterward. But as you can see, I use some dirty shapes that I found around the MAM. So yeah, that's it. So after we cut the crystals, they're entering here. For another cut session, we're gonna keep only the corner that we're interested in, and the other one's gonna be trashed. Eventually, it's being rotated. It's being rotated back, yes, so that it's always at the top right. So whatever the corner we handle, we always handle it still from the top right. And then they're just gonna be rotated when they reach, when we remerge them together later on. All right, and as a final touch, let's see it. Let's see the crystal when it's when this one we validate again that it's a crystal, and here we have you can see that I'm gonna say the layer is 3. Okay, the height would be 3, but the prepping makes it 2, and so it means that this time, because there's also a crystal on top of the first one, then we are going to inject molds of size 2. These ones, the old ones that we just made, are coming back here, and the new one, we stack the mold over the previous corner, and then this is the filling process. So we get these shapes, as you can see, and this one is the one we're interested in. And eventually, when they go out, they're gonna be one. Eventually, they're like this, okay? And then we're gonna cut it this way, and the return is gonna be exactly that. All right, all the way to the left until we've done all of it. What is that? Interesting. As the last layer, I probably copy pasted very fast, but yeah, let's fix it. Okay, eventually we reach the end, and they're gonna go all the way down for the final step, which is applying the prepping. So here is not a prepping, this is not a prepping, this is not a prepping, but the next one is a prepping, and for that reason they're actually passing here. And remember, we don't care for quantity for now. All that matters to us is having the shape we want. Alright, and then we're done. The corner is done. As you can guess, it's only about assembling the corners back together now. Let's see why we don't get anything. So this one is just a swapper. Rotate. We apply a rotation for this one, and swap it. How can I say? Swap it back in place. Remember that you can only join the two things together if you have a left side and a right side. So that's the only thing we need to be concerned with. Eventually it passes through, and normally it should be we should add some stuff there at the end on top of it. I don't know why it's shitty like this. Maybe we had too much shit from a previous. I think we had too many things here, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, it's supposed to be stacked on it. Am I missing some lanes somewhere? We're missing some lanes here. Two lanes are not working. Yeah. See the middle only. Let's see what happened. Here I see more. What the hell? Why do I have so many ones that are... I don't understand. This one is supposed to be the filter. No, the conditional bathroom. It's fucked up. Okay. Okay, I will replace the one we have, and the exhaust is also... I don't know what happened. One, wait. Let me see something. No, they're all linked. I don't know, it's a bit strange to me. Okay, replace one conditional bathroom. Save. Alright. Reverse, and yes, we need to turn it on. Let's make sure that it works. This one should just pass through. Okay, let's fix the other ones. They should probably all have the same problem. That's why I don't want to copy all the layers immediately. Okay, I'll just double check the pin one, make sure that they pass through. Okay, like the signal is correct. What? Let me see something. Okay. Are we getting more shapes now? Let's see about this one. Save. So we're talking about that one. So it's 2 pins. Ah. So the next shape is the same. I mean, it's a pin. And then it's strictly the same thing. Ah, but there's a hole here. It's the one that I created. So, yep. This one apparently is crystal. It's crystal, so it's like the left shape. Okay, it looks like this. Crystal, 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 and that one. Looks like the top left. It needs to be the top left anyway. Otherwise the pins would not have 0 pin here. So it's the top left. But it is it the one that we actually... Is the second one the top left? I'm wondering. Looks like it. It's a crystal, another crystal, yet another crystal. Ah, so what the hell is that? Oh, crystal. Ah, no, okay, it's per layer. It's not per corner. But this is different corners. How can I see the corner that we're talking about? Normally it's that, huh? But it's considered as a layer. Okay. Well, we send the right color. We send the right color, so I'm suspecting that it is correct. It's indeed the left one. And that shape has crystal, 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 and red. Okay. Let's see what we get. No prepin. It's a very nice shape to test. We have this information there. Corner has crystal, of course. Grouping count is 0. Shape layer count is 4. And corner layout count is 4. They're all the same, basically. Let's see. Okay, they're being broadcasted there. A hole. A hole. Let me see. A hole. Everything's turned off. Of course. Okay. Probably safer. I know. Wait. Oh. Ah, save. We need to get to the grounds because there is no way to bring signal to another layer. Oh, there's one more. Damn. All right. Let's connect that missing piece. It's better now. Okay, much better. So it's seeing an orange part. Let's do the same with the rest. I mean the other layers. Game is really slow with signals. 1 minute. I should consider destroying the previous machines maybe, so that I can go faster. So like I said, normally this machine is not capable of handling everything besides holes that are made of cutting holes that have crystals over them. And I have checked all the milestones and all the remaining jobs. None of them have that. We only saw it in one of the jobs. Come on. Oh, the day I will have to recopy everything for the 2 next corners. It's gonna be a nightmare. One. Hello. Okay, ready for the last one? Oh, it's gonna save. Okay, let's not touch anything. I noticed that the game takes a lot of RAM. I would recommend a minimum of 32 gigabyte. 64 would be even better. Okay, and I'm gonna AFK it while it's pasting. So, did copying this break anything? Did it apply the right thing? how can I say? We have a mismatch of rotation. If we check carefully from left to right, the pin is turning, and then we're gonna get this one, and then we're gonna get this one. But the analysis there, this one, this is not what it's showing us. It's as if it turned to the left. Let's see. Normally here it should detect a pin. But it's not the case. So I'd say we have two ways of doing, the dirty way and the clean way. This is corner number 2. The dirty way is to switch it to corner number 4, so to turn in reverse. And at the same time, they all use that same machine. Let's see if there's another better way, but I believe that this is gonna be the dirty way we're gonna use. It is this, indeed. Or we reverse the rotations. What is surprising for me, did I reverse the rotations? So we're spinning clockwise, and here in the big ones, so we're testing for it, and when we're testing for the shape, this one turns counterclockwise. Counter in this direction, counterclockwise. So I believe we're gonna go for the clean way. Spins clockwise. this. It's just a number, we don't care. I probably changed the direction in the other component without changing the one that I've put in the... let's let it save. Now, correct. 1441. Okay, my only concern here is about subtraction. But at the top there is a place where we analyze the shape. It's turning clockwise as well. Now we have 1441, and here we will have the exact same thing. 1441. Naturally. I'm just gonna check once more if there's any other component here. Aye, aye, aye. This one I think is not a problem, or is it? Because it's an analysis on the layer. So eventually is the 4 shapes of a given layer. So whatever the direction doesn't matter. The output of this is to find out if any of them is a crystal. Any of the shapes there is a crystal. That one is not a big deal. This one we check if this shape is a crystal. As a crystal. If it doesn't have a crystal, then we allow it to bypass and to be joined together. Whoa, okay, working great. Second layer contains crystal. This is the result here. But we're still allowing things to pass through. Nani? So, okay, I see this one. Where is that dirty shit? No, wait. Maybe this? No. This one checks if any of them is a crystal. And any of them, some of them are a crystal, okay? And this here is a bit strange to me. Why is the signal not connected? Or maybe it's connected with off? Huh. What? Wait, what? This is the shape. Number 2 and number 4. What the hell? I left some testing things here. looks better. I didn't leave the signal. The shape number 2 and number 1. Okay. We analyze the whole shape and find out they are crystals. Because they are crystals, reverse. Okay, there's a 4 line here. But that signal is blocked, it's not being broadcasted. So here it doesn't matter, because there's nothing before. But for this one, there is indeed crystal. We put it here, but the signal stops here. It's not being broadcasted to the other side. I think I fixed it. Right. Now it's being broadcasted. Ah. We have the same problem there, I think. It's so messed up, I don't like this. This one only carries one signal, as far as I know. We're joining things together. This one is just crossing without merging or just cross each other. So eventually our useful signal is at the top, and we want it at the top. I don't want some dirty way of moving it. So probably easiest way is just maybe to replace this one. this way. Come on. Delete. It's being broadcasted. So I fix this one. That's all. So just need to change that one. I feel like I missed one. This is the first one, that's why. Okay. So now we have the info that there's a crystal starting on this layer. For that reason, first, we're gonna let the shape pass through. And secondly, all of this is going to be broadcasted all the way, everywhere. Everywhere, including the next shapes. It's an ore. This one has a crystal anyway. This one has a crystal. The ore is still pushing the shapes out. That's why maybe we didn't have the pins go down earlier. That one did not work correctly. So normally shapes should be continuing to fill in this area, but as for the rest, it's just gonna pass through. And this should slowly stop in profit of going down, right? Yep, looks like it. Okay, so unfortunately the shape is exactly the same on these two layers, but we still have a chance to see that it works. Doesn't matter if it's I mean it's just exactly the same, so we may not see some mistakes. Let's see. It's gonna get empty and eventually, yeah, tend to nothing. Let's let it save. And I believe we're gonna stop here. So while all the changes are spreading, in about, I think it's maybe gonna take 10 minutes to see all the changes happen. Like these two should have shapes of the same color. That is correct. Before that, I think it was another color. Are we making it? Yes, the second layer. but we'll see. Yeah, last thing I need to check is make sure that these ones are in the right direction counterclockwise. I fixed that one already. Normally they used once just to detect the type of shape. Subtraction. All right. And normally here you should have the pin as well. Wait, what? And why? The pin is here. Okay, I was not looking at the right one, maybe. Okay. It's a pin and it wasn't stacked. It's gonna be pushed up. The mold is correct. Shapes are blocked. By what? By what? By what? Oh, I foresee some cut. Okay, it's supposed to be here. They're going down. Normally they go down to crystal as well. Okay. Yes, indeed. Hole. Ah, it's the piece where I put the hole. Ah, yes, I remember. I put the hole and on top of it there's a shape. This one looks fishy. This one doesn't look connected. It was not connected anyway. It's because I'm not using the pins. If I'm not stacking them, okay, I guess I need to trash them. Otherwise, the shape being provided is going to block. Is it? But it's not a pinner. Cares that is blocked at the pin. But it is a crystal. No, it's a hole. I know it's not a crystal, it's a hole. So no problem, no? Alright, so if it's a hole, let's see. If the shapes are here, basically the pin is the last check. So if the shapes are here, we could just, I know it's not very clean, but for now, since we don't handle the holes, we just let them through. we could add one more that says that and since it's a hole anyway, nothing comes from here. Okay, let's apply this everywhere. So it will allow the component to pass. Hopefully there will be no more stacking or whatever over that hole. So it will fall through. And if there's a top that have no crystal, then eventually it's gonna be stacked correctly. About the sharp multiplier, only one level remaining, 450k. Still have a long way to go. Okay, we stop here. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to continue monitoring what may be happening wrong. We start to see some movement already after fixing the hole. I'm probably gonna duplicate everything for the 4 layers soon, because I'm satisfied with what I see. As soon as I see the two corners joined together correctly in this area and the top being topped on it, I will duplicate this part. Next video will probably, I don't think that I'm gonna use this machine for I will only use this machine when there are crystal in the shape. The other shapes will be done by these two extra machines. Alright? Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you liked my solution, and maybe I will continue meditating about holes made with crystals on top of them. Alright.